What is good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Foxy. Welcome back to the Fox's Den. Getting into another reaction. We are watching Heavenly Delusion, episode 10, newest episode. Man, this show has gotten better and better through each episode, bro. This show is crazy, dude. It's got you thinking all over the place. And as I said in the last, discussion or two, the more you learn, the more you're satisfied, but also the more avenues open up for brainstorming, like which path does it take us, which way did this happen, and how many things that we've gotten of clues, line up with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a confined mess. Like it's a dedicated, educated mess that you have to like sort through and figure out for yourself, which I love because it's a perfect psychological story where you're trying to figure everything out along with the characters, the main characters in the present timeline, Haruki and Tamaro, Haruki and Maru. We're learning through them, like, because they're trying to find these traces of this heaven place, this facility, as we're also trying to figure out what led to the demise of the world and what's going on with these kids actually in this place in the past timeline, and what led up to now, and what caused a lot of this stuff. And right now, it seems off the last episode, we got a little bit more of a insight on, how Asura was. And, I thought Asura, when we first saw her kind of levitating over Tokyo, when she was feeling kind of sick, or she had like a dream of that, she was sleeping. And when she was like levitating over Tokyo, I thought like, okay, maybe this is just what Asura looked like. This is like what people think she looked like because of, her passing away. But no, she actually looked like this. So she's very different in terms of just the appearance right off the bat compared to all the other kids that were in this facility. And apparently she was like, one of the first kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, because according to the director, whenever they started talking about Asura after Taro passed, they were, Asura was different. Like, we put too much on her. We did too many things with her where I think they learned a lot, and that kind of gave them the roadmap for what to do with the rest of the kids, basically, and what not to do as well, I guess, is a good way of putting it. But sure enough, we saw a little bit more of her and, how her and Kona, really got along. Kona and the rest of the kids being younger, and, Asura was more of this already kind of older kid that was probably already in their teens and was a lot more intuitive, and also seemed to have a keen understanding on what her abilities were and like just what she was in general. And so we saw them kind of talking with each other, Kona and her, and then it seemed that they were thinking about something, or Kona was thinking about something, I can't remember exactly which, and this girl gets a cut on her leg all of a sudden, like out of thin air, and then Asura ends up healing it. So she has very special properties, abilities, that's clear from the get-go. And then she goes into Kona's room, or gets Kona's attention, and on the cameras at this time, before Asura killed herself, it seemed the cameras actually showed them what they wanted to see, at least the monitor room, or the researchers, the director and whatnot. All the cameras on the monitor feed actually showed what you want to see, because we saw Kona get out of bed and like look interested in talking to someone on the camera, but it didn't show Asura on the camera. She was not picked up, and then all of a sudden the whole monitor room goes blank. So that the footage and the AI and the robots, I feel like, has a direct connection between Asura and that stuff, the AI and the footage. There's got to be a direct connection, and I don't know. We don't know exactly what Asura's plan or motive was for killing herself, but she, it seemed she was very calm throughout the whole thing of this, and it hurt Kona more than it did her. And she almost had a purpose and knew what she needed to do, and that's why she said goodbye and did this. And I feel like Asura is the key factor to all of this. It's a key factor to the AI, whether it's the AI itself, Mina, that is influencing the kids, or is it really Asura that is the AI now, and that's what's influencing the kids. Also, all the fake footage, because we didn't see Asura on that camera, and nowadays, whenever the kids are getting up to mischief or whatnot, it's not showed on the camera. So the AI or Asura is protecting the kids, or influencing the kids and protecting that influence from the researchers, because that's obviously why they didn't know that the kids were having sex or had any idea of what the concept of sex is. And now Tokyo is pregnant, and it seems like it's a very big deal. Like they said they have a crisis on their hands, and I wonder why that is. What I was thinking is maybe it's because like they don't know what's going to come out of Tokyo. Like they've never had, you know, a case of reproduction before with these kids, because did these kids grow up from those man-eater babies? Like are all those kids initially man-eater babies, then they grow up, they look more like humans, they have special abilities, they either excel in those special abilities or they succumb to the disease, turn into a man-eater? So are they worried about Tokyo giving birth to a man-eater or a human? Like, is that what the worry is? Like, you know, it seems to be, this is a very, very big deal for the facility. And obviously, not only because, like, they don't know, you know, none of these kids have ever reproduced before, but also, they have no idea what the concept of sex is. They shouldn't. So now they have a problem on their hands where, like, are they going to start thinking that someone on the inside, like one of their colleagues, is behind it? Or are they going to finally start figuring out that the AI, or, you know, Asura is a part of the AI now, and that's the one that's influencing these kids? Are they finally going to start figuring that out? Because they've been clueless thus far. Like I said, with the cameras, you know, like hiding the camera from Tokyo and that one girl going to see the man-eater babies. They didn't see the vent open at all. They didn't see him in the room at all. You know, all that stuff. You know, multiple scenarios. Tokyo leaving her room, going to Kona's room. They're both asleep on the cameras, but they're fucking having sex. That's how they didn't know about the you know, them having intercourse and stuff like that. So it's very, very interesting, bro. And I think that's pretty much what last episode was mainly about, was just getting some more background on the past timeline in the Heaven Place and Asura in general, and giving us more clues and letting us know that Asura was a big key figure. Because like when we were talking to that guy that was giving us these stories and he was just trying to make a buck, there was half truth in some of that stuff. I don't know about the story with the fucking the women town, you know what I'm saying, and with like the men being like breeders and shit. I don't know about all that. That seemed a little far-fetched. But the first story, whenever there was like 3 big theories, one of those theories was an alien invasion, and then whenever he was, you know, and whenever his dialogue was going, it showed a picture of like a shadow that looked like Asura whenever she, you know, grew illuminated those wings on her back and then eventually hung herself. And then also we can still see that shadow figure through Mimihime, because apparently Mimihime is the only one that's able to see that, which is exactly where Asura hung herself. And she's the only one. Like, it's just there all the time. She just sees it all the time. And she seems to get like premonitions and stuff like that. Like, you know, she has like visions or something, or she gets like just like ideas of like something like happening maybe in the past. Because I remember seeing a discussion or someone mentioning that Mimihime, like, remember, like, whenever she, like, someone, I think they were messing with the robots and they were trying to go up high or something, and this one kid fell, and it seemed, like, really, like, shocking, like he might have, like, broken something, but he was actually fine. He fell, and then Mimihime was like, why do I feel like something else is gonna fall today? That was her apparently getting, like, a, you know, a memory, or not a memory, but, like, some sort of tendency or feeling of a past occurrence, which was Kona falling off of that balcony when he tried to save Asura, or not save, but like, you know, he tried to, and then Asura ended up saving him. So there's a lot of very interesting stuff going on, and we're getting clues slowly but surely. But it's a really interesting journey on all the answers that we're getting slowly but surely. And like I said, more avenues of pathways of thought processes come out with more answers and more of diving into the plot. Like, it just gets thicker and thicker and thicker, and that's what creates a good, like, questioning story, like a good mystery story, like a good psychological story. Like, it's very, very thick, and I love it. Like, it's really, really good, and it's getting better and better by episode. So I'm thoroughly enjoying this show. I hope you guys are too. And yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna get into it. Yeah, let's get into it. If you guys enjoy it, please leave a like down below, comment, subscribe for new, and hit that notification bell so you know the next one's dropping. Let's get into it. Episode 10, Heavenly Delusion. They're actually getting a car. Oh, they're not even driving.
5時間では着かないかもしれません。
Oh, they got him to drive
いや
him.
地震のせいで道がですね。さっき言ってたことは本当でしょうか。
あーびっくりしたな。
I like the still frame
生きて
animation.
るかだけでも確かめるって話です。
Wow. Okay, so that story is true, and I was thinking it was far-fetched because Haruki or Kiriko noticed right away and rubbed off that 11 on his arm. But he has an actual one on his shoulder.
走れる道をつなげば車で5時間くらい。
Yeah, you good? You good? I think you're all just. I think he stopped. I think they're all sleeping. Yeah, he's sleeping too.
でもこれで信用してもらえました。
The animation is so funny right now.
これで十分です。
So they're heading with him apparently to this town that is actually like what he said it is.
車はここに隠していきます。気になってしまったもので。
Whoa! What the fuck? Why didn't Haruki do anything? He just let him do it.
失礼しました。
誰が誰の女って。
Yo, the animation is geeking right
昨
now.
日は気づかなかったんですが、お姉さんの胸が大きいのは危険かもしれません。町に住む代わりに胸を切られた人がいました。
Bro, what? They jealous? They jealous of the big boobies? They jealous? Okay, he seems to have an actual tattoo of 11 on it. Like, but how true is true of this fucking place, bro? It still might be like half true. You know what I'm saying? I feel like most of what this guy says is half truth.
これでどうかな。
なんだよ、かわいいじゃん。
What the? You're pretty.
そうなんだ。
どっちがかわいい。
そりゃお姉さんですよ。女性
They're
です。
actually Haruki's actually worried about it.
じゃあ行こうか。
なんだ。
One, yeah, I'm proud. I'm the prettier one. Oh my god, these two are fucking hilarious, dude. This episode's gonna be funny. I can just tell. I mean, he act like turning this corner. He seems like he's actually worried. So I wonder.
元気にしてるかな。
And look, there's actually a wall with spikes and whatnot.
お姉ちゃん？
Yeah, there's a huge. It looks abandoned.
なんだか廃墟というより瓦礫なんだわ。
誰かいませんか？
Doesn't seem like it.
足元には気をつけなよ、常に。
Was that a clue? Was that a clue? There was a bucket with like utensils in it, soaking in water. Was that to like clean it? So is there somebody actually here?
なんかさ、生活感だけ残して人が
The reflection in the water. Bro, the animation. They're showing off their animation in this episode. This shit is so unique.
途中のページ、日付だけで終わってる。
お姉ちゃん。
What is happening?
お姉ちゃん、水が、いや、部屋が。
待って、目がくっつく。
Literally freezing. Both of them. Bro, this is do or die. This is getting too close for comfort.
やっぱりヒロコが。
危なかった。
God damn, got me covered and shit.
殺されてたんじゃないか。
Whoa.
逃げると。
Bro, the animation is wild.
階段で鉢合わせるとまずい。
Yeah, and Haruki just looked in that bucket with the utensils. Seems to have an annoyed look on her face, like. Oh, that's actually a man-eater, alright.
死にやがったな。 見えた。思った通りだ。こういう感じの攻撃なんだな。形が分かれば怖くない。
Bro, they're going dummy with the animation this episode. It looks so good.
相手にはよかろうが、コール前に武器持って突き抜けて来られるとこ 困るよな。
Cut it in half. There we go.
僕らが頼まれたのは安否確認だけだ。
Yeah, the baby. They didn't find anything. Nobody's there. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So there's definitely truth to what he told about that story. I just wonder how much is true.
建物がボロくなったから引っ越しして、その後人食いが済んだのかもしれない。
Or it's possible the man-eater
11
went into that place knowing that there was a lot of people and got a lot of sustenance. That's one possibility as well. They're trying to comfort him though.
誰だ雑なまとめ方しやがって。本当か？間違いないって。種豚11号じゃないか。生きてたのか。
Wow, people he actually knows from that place?
種豚6号さん、9号さん、その名前で呼ぶんじゃねえ。そっちが先に呼ぶから合わせたんでしょうが。俺たち今別のところに。
Look at them in the back. Yo, no, the animation is top tier, bro. It fits the show so well. This shit geeks, man.
てなわけだったんだよ。女たちの尺に触ると何されるかわかんねえからみんなであやしてたんだ。でその時を怪物が侵入してきたのは。
Okay, so yeah, it definitely invaded while they were there.
怪物が壊したところから逃げることができたんだ。
Oh, wow, they actually did find his kid. That's wild. They actually did find his kid. That's crazy, bro.
よかったな。敵は
Look how I was just this is what I'm talking about. This the way it makes you think in this show. Like I was just saying that story was mainly like fib, like mainly fed up. But it actually turned out to be mostly true.
さいな。
君が面倒を見てくれてたんだって。
君の息子なんだ。当然だよ。
That's nice. That's sweet. At least he had good people looking after his kid.
今日は寒かったからありがたいな。あ、もう。
Oh, it sinks into the bath. Oh man.
明日はどうする？
茨城の施設の場所調べて行ってみよう。
どうやって調べるの？
一応当てはある。
Knocked. Had a good meal, good bath, chilling, bruh. I'll talk about it tomorrow. We're going to sleep. What's the noise? Great, the man-eater's fucking here. God damn it, someone wake up. Haruki, Maru, hurry up. Get the business. Please, do not let this kid die. Do not let his father die after they just reunited. Fuck.
いないのか。
11がいない。
落ち着け。
Oh, the animation!
リーダーと15もいない。逃げ遅れたんだ。
シーソー、走っても走っても冷気から抜けられない。肺がこれ。
Is this a dream?
生きているのか。ならなぜ敵の姿が見えない。足音もしない。
There's no way she's running this far, bro. This has got to be a dream.
冷気が止んだ。
Wait, it's the kid.
もう大丈夫だ。お姉ちゃん。近づいちゃダメだ。
離せ。赤ちゃんが死ぬ。見殺しにする気か。
違う。あの子がヒルコだ。
He's just like one of the kids from the facility. He just doesn't know how to control his. He doesn't know how to control his ability. And then there's a man eater that has the exact same ability. So the man eaters and the kids with abilities go hand in hand. Because they definitely like shot like some spider or some shit that was using the same ability. Still allowing them to email and text each other and whatnot. Time has already progressed a good amount in the past timeline since we've last watched this. Okay, and then we already know that.
沢渡先生、車だよ。
僕にはもう旅をする理由はありませんし。
That's true.
それにここにある車、あれよりずっといい車なんで
Well,
す
they
よ。
came up for that, helping him out, paid off.
息子に投資させられないよ気をつけろよ
See you, bye bye.
The same thing he said. What's up? The car literally dies.
あれ、おかしいな。はい、マル、焦ると余計にかかんないだろ。
Do they just not know how to start the car, or?
皆さん、これから新しい仲間をお迎えします。皆さんはこれからとても大事な時期を迎えます。何
Interesting.
が起きたとしても正しい未来へ。
Why do they look crazy? This kid's playing with blocks. Seems to have blood spatter on them.
あの夜のことです。僕が脱走した夜。
Oh shit! The one that took care of his kid was the one that snitched on him. So he would have been fine from the get-go if that dude didn't say anything. So this guy, Juichi, just murdered him? Because it looks like the kid that's playing with blocks with blood on him is Juichi's son. He's got blood on him.
もう僕には分かりません。ただ一つだけ確かなこと。
Yeah, he killed him.
15の母親を殺したのは。
The kid's right there while he did it. That is insane. Is the kid deaf or something?
おい、あれってうちの車じゃ。
So he's living on his own now with his son, and he got his revenge on that guy that fucked up. That got they got the kid's mother killed. That's wild as fuck, bro.
See you. Bye bye.
See you. Bye bye. Wow, what an episode. It's gonna end right here. Okay, we get a little bit more. What an amazing episode, bro. That was so good. Alrighty guys, what another amazing episode of Heavenly Delusion. That was really good. I was really stunned by the animation throughout most of the episode. I know this show has always been visually pleasing from the start, but this episode especially just like kept on shouting out to me, like the animation and the visuals. Like it's just so unique, and they do such a good job of like pulling your attention into that. And it was very enjoyable, like just the looks of it. It just looked awesome. And very quickly we get back into the flow of things where they're in the car, you know, on the way to this town where this story this guy told was where like these women were, and like there was breeders and whatnot, which were the men. You know, as I said in the pre-episode discussion and last episode's discussion, that seemed like more of a fake story. Like he was just trying to make a buck. Same with the other stories, you know what I'm saying? Because obviously he hid the logo on behind the wall with the van, so like he wanted to make as much money as he could because they could have just found out the info on themselves. But sure enough, when we get into this episode, they're already in the van with him. So I'm like, huh? They met back up with him? Like I thought he drove off, but it seems they ran back into each other, and they decided to go with him to check out this place where he wants to see if his kid's still alive, and hopefully be able to reunite with him. And I was like, man, I don't know. Like, I was still kind of not convinced. I was like, okay, maybe there is some truth to it, but like, how much of it really is true? Like, how, like, there could be half truth. You know what I'm saying? But it seems he actually has, like, because like what led you to believe that it was completely fake is because Haruki went up and scratched off the 11 on his arm last episode, but it turns out he actually has an 11 on his shoulder that he like actually hides, and so he showed it to that to them this time before they got into the van, and that's what started this journey of going down to this place. They get there very quickly. They realize, okay, it doesn't seem like there's many people here. Bro, the whole episode was funny as shit too from leading up to that, because they're like Haruki's still not kind of like trusting him, and they're like sleeping, and like the interactions that they have, Maru and Haruki are just hilarious. And then whenever they get there, this fucking guy all of a sudden just starts touching her breasts. Like, bro, what the? Like, he was literally going like this. I was like, bro, what are we doing? And it was basically like he was like, you know, obviously Maru got super, he was like, what the fuck are you doing to my girl? Like, he instantly called Kiriko like his girl or Haruki, whatever. And, you know, Haruki's like, who you calling your woman? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, just funny ass interactions. But he goes on to say that, you know, you could be like disliked for having a big chest. Like, seems that, you know, most of the women on there maybe weren't big chested, and so if you are big chested, they're gonna, you know, be jealous, and then you might have to cut them off. Like, what the it's just fucking weird as shit. But anyways, they set up Maru to look like a girl, and he actually looks pretty, and Haruki's shocked, and like, and then he grabs Haruki and he looks at Joichi, and he's like, who's prettier? And they actually have like a discussion, and then he's like, obviously you. And then Haruki or Kiriko feels all proud, like, that's right, good decision, you know what I'm saying? And they eventually actually get into this place, or go to it, and there's a big hole in the wall. You know, obviously there is a wall with spikes on it, but there's a huge hole in it. And they start sifting through the buildings and whatnot. Nobody's there. It's abandoned. It's been wrecked. And sure enough, because of what caused that is a man-eater came and started to fuck everything up, and probably feast on people that were there, because obviously man-eaters need sustenance. So a bunch of people there, that's going to attract a man-eater. So that's what broke up all the people in that place. That's what cast them all out, and, you know, everybody's living their own kind of lives now. And he's kind of bummed out. He's like, damn, like, nobody's there, so that means not my kid's not there either. It's like, damn. Then all of a sudden, two other people that, or men that were breeding pigs apparently recognize him, and they're like, oh shit, you know, Pig 11, Boar 11, whatever they call him, like, oh my god. And they start catching up, and then they eventually, you know, get in the van together, and they go to this little, you know, house or, you know, shelter that they're living at. And sure enough, they had his son, and it's a really touching moment. They reunite, and he's so happy, couldn't be happier. And yeah, just is really nice. But yeah, it was a really touching moment seeing him actually reunite with his son. And, you know, obviously still very young, can't really talk much, like, you know, probably like 1 year old, maybe like a year and a half, like, if that. And they have a good time. They cook up some meat, you know, they're grilling out, they're enjoying each other's company. You know, Haruki gets a nice bath, probably Maru too, and then they sleep off the night and get a good night's rest. And then all of a sudden, the same man-eater, they realized it was the same man-eater because of the cold chill, like, ability that was happening. They're like, oh shit, it's here. So they tell everybody to get outside, and then Haruki takes the kid and starts running to get away from the cold, like, to keep warm, to, like, because you're running, you're sweating, you're supposed to sweat, work up some energy, you'll stay warm. But wait, she didn't realize she's holding the kid. The kid was producing that coldness. So this kid is like pretty much like those other kids too that were in that facility in the Heaven Place, whether it was the kids that we've already known up until now, or the new kids that we just got introduced to, which are the, you know, the new 5-year-olds that just got introduced in this facility, is another question to be answered later. But that means that either Joichi was a part of that facility, which is unlikely because he seems mostly scarred from this place that he was at and had the kid. Like, I feel like he would remember more about the facility and information to answer that Haruki and Maru asked him about that place, like heaven, that they were looking for. So I don't think it's him, but then that's very plausible that whoever the mother of the kid is that ended up in this walled off town could very well have been from that facility. And who knows who it was. But we can tell the kid has black hair, so maybe the mom has black hair. Very curious. It's very, very intriguing. But they figure that out, and they realize that that's the kid that's producing that power. And it's, you know, they're you know, calling it a man-eater. It's not exactly a man-eater, but the kid doesn't know how to control the ability. So it may be, you know, this is what maybe happens whenever, you know, these man-eater babies that they're experimenting on grow up into these kids, and then they end up reproducing. They give birth to a perfectly good human, but it's special. It has a power, or it has an ability. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I think we're learning so far through this episode. And then they see the kid completely fine, and then he just starts crying after it. Like, who knows what starts it, but obviously since he's a young ass kid, that's why he doesn't know how to control it. And then sure enough, the next day comes, and Joichi's, you know, seems happy. He's like, I have no need to travel anymore. Like, I'm chilling here. And, you know, sends them on their way. He gives them the car, like the van. Like, here you go, here you guys go. Like, okay, now they can travel way easier now, as long as they have a sufficient supply of gasoline and they can find gasoline frequently. So that's a big come up for them. And then they head off, and, you know, they're on to the next place. And I think they're trying to get to the, you know, place that they were initially headed, which is one of the facilities. You know what I'm saying? They had the addresses on that paper. They still have that paper with them. So I think that's where they're headed. And then we get a little bit more of a look into the Heaven place. Time has passed a little bit. Tokyo's hair is a little bit longer. She's missing Kona, but, you know, she's been told that once, you know, she has the baby, she should be able to go back just fine. But that all depends on everything goes well. And then it seems Ashihashi, which is the assistant director, seems very worried about this whole thing. And even Sawatara, who was jealous of her getting that position, that researcher, he told her, like, oh, she's gonna have the baby soon. So it's coming soon. Like, we might get this next episode where we actually see what happens with the, you know, the birth. And then that's where she's like, you know, she seems very worried and like kind of holds on to him. And, you know, it just seems like a comforting moment for both of them, because they're just, I think it's a weird air in the facility where everybody doesn't know what the fuck's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a calm before the storm. So that is very intriguing in itself. And then after that, that's when Ashihashi introduces the new kids to the kids that have already been there, which are all these 5-year-olds. And they look, I mean, they could just be normal kids, but the way they introduced them and the way some of the camera angles were and like how some of their faces look, I mean, these kids look wild. Like, unafraid, like not afraid of anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they just seem like oddballs, like ready for whatever, or, you know, I don't know. Like, that's just the vibe I got from looking at them for the first time. That's pretty much all we got from the Heaven Place this episode. And then we get a little bit more of Juichi and where he was staying, and we see, you know, his kid, which I thought was his kid at first, I just wasn't exactly sure, was playing with blocks, but it had like blood splatter on him. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, is this happening right now? And sure enough, it is happening right now. The guy that was taking care of his kid, the long black-haired fellow that sheltered him until Juichi reunited with him, Juichi remembered and held this grudge to this day. That motherfucker was the one that shouted that somebody was escaping. So they probably would have escaped and been fine, been a happy family, if it wasn't for that guy. And he remembered that, and he held a fucking grudge. So he took care of business, and he slit his throat with a saw, I think a buzz saw, and, you know, just handled it like it was nothing. His kid was playing with the blocks, and just, you know, I mean, obviously the kid is not going to remember that, but it's just traumatic. Like, that's just so, it's so disturbing, just like having an innocent child in the room that, you know, doesn't know any better of what's happening around them, and they're just trying to occupy themselves, and there's literally the father of this child that is murdering someone. Like, that is wild. And he took care of that, stole one of their cars, and dipped. Never, like, he's just gonna live with his kid now. And that was the last line basically of the episode, like, see you, bye-bye. Like, bruh, that shit, damn, that was a good episode, bro. This is heating up, bro. Every episode just keeps on diving you back and more into the thicken of the plot, and more questions to be answered, dude. Like, oh, dude. And I was thinking, like I said in these previous discussions, like, I was thinking like most of that story was fake or false or not true, but actually most of it was true, which is crazy to think about. So yeah, man, another amazing episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. If you guys did, please leave a like down below, comment, subscribe if you're new, and hit that notification bell so you know the next one's dropping. I'll see you on the next one. Y'all be good. Deuces.